If I say to you that someone is attached to worldly things such as wealth, fame, or sex, then I think you would rightly understand that that is a person who is really attracted by these things. And that person wants a lot of these in his life. But if I say to you that someone is non attached to these things, then I think most of us think that that would be a person who is opposed by the idea of such pleasures. And he dislikes things such as wealth, sex, or fame. And this is such a big misunderstanding in many spiritual circles. I'm sure you would have come across them, where being spiritual or being non attached means opposing the idea of such so called worldly things. Well, the truth is that a person who is, let's say, opposed to the idea of wealth and is repelled by it is as much attached to money as the person who is crazy after it. And similarly, a person who despises the idea of sex and thinks that it is a desire that one should just get rid of is still as much attached to it as the person who thinks about it all the time. And why is that? It's because in both of these cases, these things have an emotional control over the person. Because in the first case, thoughts of these things bring up feeling of excitement and craving in the person, and he ends up thinking about them a lot. And in the second case, thoughts of such things bring up feeling of dislike and disgust in the person, and he still ends up thinking about them a lot, just in a negative sense. So in both of these cases, the person has an emotional and mental reaction to something that is preconditioned to him. So then it begs the question that if both craving for something and being repelled by something, both of these are cases of attachment, then what is non attachment? Non attachment is being free from any preconditioned mental or emotional reaction to something. So, if a person is truly non attached to money, he obviously does not crave it, but he is also not opposed by the idea of it. So, if he gets rich, then he enjoys his wealth to its fullest because he sees it as an utility. But if he does not get it, then he can still live his life pretty peacefully without obsessing over it. So, such a person can work towards getting more money, no problem, but the money does not rule his mind. So, such a person is not controlled by his emotional impulses. He has the ability to choose consciously whether he wants to pursue the path of wealth, fame, sex, whatever. He has the ability to be conscious and be aware about his decisions, whether to pursue something or not, rather than being dictated on by emotional and mental patterns. Hey, I just wanted to pause for a second to say that if you enjoy insights like these, then I write much more in depth in my email newsletter, whose link I have attached in the description below. And I hope you join me there as well. I share many more in depth insights as well as practical exercises that you can use to get started with your journey as soon as possible. There's a very interesting term that I came across some time back, which explains this idea of non attachment very nicely, which is benevolent indifference. It means that the person is indifferent to having or not having something, but not in a depressed or dismissive way. Not in a way of, oh, nothing matters, life is meaningless, nothing has any use whatsoever. Not in this way. He's indifferent in a joyful, playful, benevolent way. He's still very kind and helpful to everyone, and he still enjoys his life. And the reason that it is important to understand is because when we are young, we want a lot of such things, but we do not always succeed in getting them. And then it leaves room for us thinking that all these things are bad. And then we basically just swing from one end of the pendulum to the other end. We just go from craving these things widely to hating these things widely. And then some people sort of spiritualize this thing and think that, oh, I have now become non attached. But both of these are the two faces of the same coin of attachment. So, such a person who's truly non attached to these things is peaceful both ways. If he gets these things, he can enjoy them to the fullest. If he does not, he can shrug off and walk away and still live his life peacefully.
Don't act funny, you need my money. Don't come back